the Fanatec Moser and SimMagic killer wheel is here, because this wheel somehow, you're not going to believe me, is only $349. $349, and I just genuinely don't know how they've done it. It's around £299 in the UK as I understand it, including VAT, including the tax. I cannot understand how you are able to order a wheel like this for, in the sim racing space, such a small amount of money and allegedly get so much. But I'm not paid to make this video. This is a review unit, and I'm going to tear into this wheel because there are some areas where it does need to be improved. You can see that they've cut corners or not invested as much. I'm going to get into that. But firstly, what do we have here? We have the Conspit 310 Apex wheel. So this is part of Conspit's kind of Apex level thing. You can imagine Acertech to... Oh my god. I'm so sorry. I literally just understood into you, bro, and I caused a massive accident. Hope everyone's okay. We're doing a review. Sorry, bro. But it's the Apex line is what Conspit are calling their kind of, I believe, like entry-level stuff. Don't quote me on it, but that's what it seems to be. A bit like Acertech had La Prima, now Initium. Other brands do similar lines as well, like Fanatec with CSL. So we have this Apex wheel, 310. It's similar to the Conspit 300 GT in certain areas. I've got the Conspit 300 GT here. It's heavier. You can see that it also has this kind of like slimline screen, which we'll get into. But I don't understand how the Conspit 300 GT is about £400 and this is about £300. So still crazy. Right, we've got two clutch paddles, carbon fiber clutch paddles. We've got carbon fiber shifters as well, magnetic, which is not necessarily a given these days, even at this price point. So we've got magnetic shifters here. We have this screen, which I'm going to get onto later, because we also have the rev bar, which you can see it looks like I've shifted up too early perhaps. And by the way, we are going to get in software in this video, which I think is a weak link, excuse the pun, as you'll see, for Conspit. But I didn't even update any software on this wheel or firmware. I literally plugged it in, I updated to the latest version of the Conspit Link software, and that's what we're using right now. And there's still loads of functionality to get into. The rev bar I absolutely love. It's so bright. It's one of the brightest rev bars I've ever used. Yeah, the rev bar super bright. It's got the individual lights, which I love, like the Ferrari 296 I just spanned in the game. Fantastic rev bar. It's different to the one in the Conspit 300 GT, interestingly, so I love that. And then we've got some party pieces. So we have here ABS. Well, I use them for ABS and TC, and I think they're potential game changers, especially when you compare it to something like the Fanatec Porsche VGT CSL wheel, which is not going to compare itself well to this in many ways. But you can see here, I can adjust my ABS on the fly, and I can see on the dial what the ABS is. Yes, on my current screen I can see what it is, but I can also on the dial see. That's a game changer. That's going to encourage me in long races to experiment with the ABS and TC throughout a race as the race progresses, when I'm in practice as well. So that's genuinely mad. Oh. We've also got two funky switches on each side, which I've mapped to the iRacing black box. And we also have, let's get onto the screen now, because we've got this screen that's the same one in the Conspit 300 GT. Now I want to be clear, something like the Acertech Forte Formula Pro wheel has an insane screen. That screen is so lovely and nice. It's kind of like the MacBook of screens. And if you want a really nice screen, that's a different ball game. That's going to give you, it's just going to be nice to look at. This screen to me is not nice to look at. I want to be honest. Like, it's small. You have to cram it in. A lot of the numbers and a lot of different dashes are quite small digits. The screen itself is not SimHub compatible as I understand it, or at least there's no SimHub dashes. The wheel is SimHub compatible, so you can get a SimHub to run your lights, and that might indicate in the future that it's not difficult to get a SimHub on the dash. But at the moment we're limited to Conspit dashes. Let me run through them. So we got this one here that's quite nice. It's got a rev bar, it's got my time difference, it's got my fastest lap, It's got my current lap time. It's got fuel. To be honest, it's an iRacer's dream that if I was doing a cheeky 3-hour endurance race here, needing to do pit stops and get my stints. It's got this one, which is my favourite on the Conspit 300 GT, just a big gear icon, my RPM, which I wouldn't look at. It's just basically the gears. By the way, I'd love it if a wheel manufacturer comes out and just does a square or circle screen in the middle of the wheel solely for gears. And by the way, the next big thing in sim racing that I'll tell you about it right now because everyone's going to be shouting about this in 2026. The next big thing is going to be AI in sim racing, AI coaching. There's going to be all sorts of suggested gears, brake 10 meters earlier, turn in 10 meters later. There's going to be all this nonsense as everyone's going to try and scramble and sell you AI. Well, at least I'd like to have a wheel that shows me here rather than have to listen to an AI voice do it. So that would be quite interesting. But I like this display. Then we've got this one here where I've got my delta bar. What's interesting here is like this is very similar to my race logic. I can't see a race logic in this 296 GT, but when I raced Mazdas in Spain, I had a race logic. When I've interviewed drivers on the grid, GT cars, I often go and have a look and try and see what their setup is. They have the race logics positioned, and it looks, I can tell you as someone who has one, it kind of looks exactly like this. You have your delta, you have your lap time very clearly. Like this is a really nice, crashing to everyone today. This is a really nice dash. I would like to tweak it a little bit. Maybe I would like to have take off the LEDs to be the rev light, and I'd like the LEDs to be my delta time. So when I'm having a good exit, they're going green. When I'm having a bad exit, they go red. That's what I have my race logic actual physical box set up as. But oh my days, man. Then we've got this one. It's just a clearer delta. It's in pretty hard. By the way, I'm using I put this on the Conspit Aries Platinum base, and I'm using Conspit Evo CPP pedals. I thought I'd just do all Conspit, just so it all kind of works. And I'm running on my Indigo Lime Genius rig. All links for all products will be in the description or www.simracingdiscounts.com. So you can see this one here. See my deltas in green? I'd love to have LEDs show that. This one is just way too much. And I see I've got a green flag there. Right now in the game, I've got a white flag, so I'd love if that changed to white flag. I know that Acertech do that. Now, I told you there's some things that can be improved. I think the Conspit software is the weak link of Conspit products right now, because, and that might sound harsh because it's functional, but I have to be honest. Right at the top of the tree, Simucube Tuner software, and Acertech, the Race Hub software, absolutely top of the tree in my opinion. You plug stuff in, it detects it, it just works. It's a dream to calibrate. They kind of, you can tell they know what's a pain, and they've tried to eradicate that or make it easier. Whereas the Conspit software at the moment has some great functionality like the brake trace, but even the way the fonts are, even the way it just kind of looks, it doesn't have that UI touch at the moment. And like I said, I haven't even updated this one to be fair, but here, that green flag, I would like to have a white flag on here, or some other functionality that I'm not sure I can do in the Conspit software. So we've got this one. Then we've got a nice clear one here. This is a really nice one with nice gear. You can see that they've tailored this towards the screen. Obviously, if they can get the SimHub dashes working, that's going to be great as well. Almost lost that rear end. The rim itself, by the way, this one is too much information for me. Like, I can also, it has ABS and TC, but to be honest, I'm just not going to need that if I'm using ABS and TC on these dials. Like, I really like these dials. Something that's really interesting as we talk about the rim. Acertech have gone under a lot of pressure recently for their Initium rim, which most people don't like the looks. I think it's fair enough to say most people don't like the looks, okay? If you actually look at the Acertech Initium wheel, right, I bet you it looks very similar to this, with the LED light here, 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 and here, and the shape of this, and the logo in the middle. But for some reason, this wheel just looks better than the Acertech wheel, I think it's fair to say. Probably for two reasons. Firstly, it doesn't have the D-pad and the thing. It has the two funky switches here. And they haven't skimped on the funky switches. They've still gone for the Conspit purple and all that. And secondly, it hasn't gone for this fake forged carbon look. It's just gone for a simple look. And because of that, even though this is... I don't know if this is cheaper than Initium. This might be cheaper than Initium. I need to double check. But the Initium bundle is something like $599. This wheel on its own is going to be $299. So no, the initial one is cheaper. But anyway, this one looks like it's more premium in my opinion. The rim itself is quite nice. It's not the nicest, but it's quite nice. What I really like is I really like the stitching. I'm sounding like an old school car reviewer now and I review steering wheels, but I just love this kind of like hand stitching or this natural stitching. The RevoSim wheel is the same and it really gives it that premium feel. So, and it's got these nice little cutouts here. This is a critical part of the wheel, especially a round wheel that you might be using more for GT. So if you look at my dude on the screen, you can see where his thumbs are. You need to have that exactly right. And dare I say, Fanatec with the Porsche CSL wheel don't have that exactly right, because you have the aluminium kind of comes in here and your thumbs rest a bit on the aluminium. I'm not sure how that's going to be long term. That also has the Tactaris Alcantara. This has just gone for this fake leather. But I really like it. I wonder how real leather sim racing wheels will be, by the way. You might have to look after them a bit more. But then we've got loads more buttons. We've got all of these encoders here. I think we'll have the same functionality in the 300 GT where you'll be able to kind of have multiple settings by rotating one of these, which is absolutely insane. We've got these basic buttons here not doing anything, although I like that out of the box they've come in different colours. I mean, it's kind of crazy comparing this with something like the RevoSim RevoSim wheel, when the RevoSim wheel doesn't have any backlit buttons and they look kind of like toys. Like Conspit is just hitting, I would say it's kind of hitting pretty much everything 8 out of 10. Like the shifters, by the way, these are the quietest shifters I've ever used in sim racing, and that's going to be divisive. I'm going to be quiet. I can hear them in the car. That's so weird. I can hear them in the car in game, but you cannot hear them in real life. They are so dampened. I personally like that because you're not going to wake your neighbours up. You can just sim race all through the night. Some people I think are going to hate it perfectly legitimately because you want to know that you've shifted. But these are magnetic shifters and they're unbelievably dampened. I'm sure you can change it by moving some stuff around. If I take it off here, as I understand it, and this is not confirmed, but I get like a little PDF when I get sent a wheel to review often by all brands. As I understand it, Conspit are going to be upgrading their QR, and this wheel may come with a new QR that is also directly compatible with Moser and Simagic bases. So I wasn't joking when I said this is a Moser and Simagic killer. Like, if it's true and they're bundling this with a QR that is natively compatible on Moser and Simagic, then they are directly saying it doesn't matter if you've got a Moser and Simagic base, come over to us on Conspit, because all these wheels have USB pass out, so you can just connect them to your PC using USB. This is the Conspit 300 GT for comparison. I think this might be a pre-release one they gave me with slightly harder grips, or the grips feel quite hard. It does have this kind of like carbon weave finish to it that I'm not sure how it looks. I thought nothing could beat this wheel. And I'm a GT racer. Like, I race GT cars. That's really what I like doing. And this is the GT form factor. But I wonder, these grips here, and this might be because I got some Conspit often just, as soon as something rolls off the line, they'll send it to me. So often it can be like pre-release stuff. But, oh, there's another party trick I haven't even told you about. This is a hub system. Yeah. This is a hub system. So you can take off this rim and you can put on other rims. Look, if you have a look here, it's super simple. Screw, 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 screw. That's all going to come off. So you're going to have third-party rims. I don't know whether companies like Asolith and these other ones are going to get in the game. Conspit are going to make their own rims as well. This is a hub, which is a big game changer from this. So you're going to be able to maybe get a GT form factor on this anyway, potentially. Which blows my mind. I don't understand it. I don't understand. I'm going to come back to it. How they've done this for $349. So, and I'm not paid to make this video. I don't even think I have an affiliate link. You have to check on simracingdiscounts.com for the best prices. But this is just like insane. There's only two ways I think this wheel is going to fail. One is if they don't market it enough. So they've got to spend some marketing dollars getting it out there, because the brands they're competing with are really good at marketing. So they've got to market it. They've got to put it out there. Secondly, if this wheel is not reliable, that will be a killer for this wheel. And I can't tell you right now whether this wheel's reliable or not. All I can tell you is that I've put it on, I updated the software, the Conspit Link software. I didn't update any firmware, and I've just done this race at Daytona. I've been using it beforehand, and it feels super, super, super nice. If there's going to be some issue down the future, I know SimMagic have had issues with wheelbases and software updates and stuff like that, then that's a risk for them. They cannot afford that, and I do think the Conspit Link software does look like it lags behind the quality of the hardware. But if they do market it and it ultimately is reliable, then people will buy it and word of mouth will spread, and Conspit will become one of the big brands in sim racing. I don't think Conspit are a big brand in sim racing right now, got to be honest. But with products like this, they are screaming and shouting and saying, we are making the best value products in sim racing. So let me know what you think in the comments. I'll put some other videos around here, maybe of other products around this price range, so you can have a look at my reviews of those and then compare. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you in the next one.